Let's step back in time. The year is 1153. The lone explorer ties up his horse and begins his walk down the cobblestone entrance. Because he has made a discovery. Again, it is the year 1157, and we are in the midst of the Cham dynasty in Vietnam. And he comes down the cobblestone pathway because he has made something of note. He has come here to the Cham temple to maybe pay his respects. The temple has been abandoned for many centuries. But he has come to explore. Perhaps he will lay incense down. He sees some minor posts that maybe once held a gate or an entrance. It is very dark as it is unlit, and he finds a worship table where people have left offerings and incense to the ancient gods. This pillar perhaps one time held some sort of statue of some ancient god. He admires the ancient stonework, the ancient brickwork that went into the construction of the temple. The way it was laid out, so very high. But he has an eerie feeling, so he chooses to depart. And as he exits the temple, the ancient explorer, he emerges centuries later into the year 2025. And he finds that much of Vietnam hasn't changed in over 1,000 years. So as I'm taking my bike ride, I went down a road I don't go down or haven't been down yet, and I saw this Cham temple, and I thought, wow, how cool is that? Now, I said 1157, which was a made-up year. This temple was built in the 11th century, so who knows what year it was built in exactly. But it was built in the 11th century. So that puts it well over 1,000 years old. And the way it's constructed, as you could see, the stonework and the open eyelets at the top of both of the towers here to allow light inside. Now, there's some intricate details around the midpoint of the towers. And also within the entrance windows and entryway of the temple. It's totally cool that it's been preserved. Now, it looks like they recently kind of cut the lawn around here. That's got to be very old as well. That's probably from the 11th century also. So I don't know how the practices went exactly. And from what I'm reading, and I'm going to show it to you in a second, the Cham dynasty seems to be almost like a Vishnu kind of bullshit back in the day, before it became Vietnam, you know, throughout the centuries, a change in culture. I'm sure there were several cultural changes throughout the last almost 1,500 years that this temple was built. So if you look at the sign here, and part of it is in English. I gave you a moment to read this. So that pillar that I showed you inside used to be a linga, a symbol of Shiva, which was inside, and it's long gone. Those of you that pay attention to what's going on in the world, history, knowledge, have some sense of utilizing your brain, know that Shiva, at least in the Vishnu or Hindu religion, is the goddess of death. So in terms of an ancient, unsophisticated, undeveloped culture of people, to be practicing a religion back then, and they still do today, of worshiping Shiva, the goddess of death, is like, for me, although I find this extremely interesting, what a bunch of bullshit. Who frickin' worships the goddess of death? You know what I'm saying? I mean, give me a break, right? I'm gonna come in here and light incense and make prayer and leave offerings to the goddess of death. The goddess of death can kiss my ass. Now, I'm a believer in the one true God, okay? And I won't go into all of that religion and, you know, Christianity and stuff. Just know that that is where my beliefs lie. And I do find it very interesting when I come across this kind of stuff, because I'm thinking, you know, who does that? But back then, and I shouldn't say back then, because if you go from, you know, 0 AD when Christ was crucified that's 1100 years since then. And these people, you know, didn't in all those centuries, even without knowledge of Christianity and Jesus, that they would not develop a sense of all-powerful God, a master of the universe, the I am, the one God. And they're worshiping all of these deities, all these strange, weird customs and worship of goddesses of death and all kind of other bullshit. I won't disparage it too badly. I'll dial it back now, but you get my point. What in the hell were you people thinking? The architecture is really cool, but the foundation of it is pretty whack. And I'll say a few more things about this area. Now, this is something that is almost 1,500 years old. You would think, now granted, you want to maintain some authenticity to the area, but you would think they would do a better job of kind of holding this area here. And what I mean by that is, yeah, you're not going to screw around with this stone path because, it may be that old. Obviously, the tower is that old. These little statues in front and this little worship altar and a few other things. Yeah, man. You don't touch that stuff. You don't try. Well, at one point, maybe you try to restore it, but I don't think that's necessary yet. This sign is probably 100. No, it's probably 50 years old. Excuse me. Get the surrounding area fixed up a little bit. So if you're going to feature some kind of ancient relic like this, which is quite valuable in the sense of history and antiquity, you kind of want to maybe treat it with care. You don't want to fence it off with some old barbed wire and stone pillars. And not, maybe do some landscaping out here. Goodness gracious. There's some really cool trees in this area. This one is kind of nice. Almost like, I don't know if I'm right or not. I'm probably not. There's probably another name for it, and there's probably another species of tree, but this is almost like a banyan tree. The way that it twists and the way the roots are set up on it. But come on, let's take care of the place, right? But anyways, I think it's really fascinating to be coming down this main road here, which is just like a regular road, and to find some ancient historic relic like this is like totally cool. This is why I love taking these exploratory bike rides. As I said, I'm on the manual horse today. I'm not on the e-bike, so that's cool. It's a little more challenging for great distances, but it's good exercise for the old boy. And yeah, out here you can see, I don't know exactly what the hell they're doing here. Your guess is as good as mine. You got a school, looks like a little little kindergarten through, let's say, fifth grade school here. This is a government building right here. I probably shouldn't even be filming it. They actually have grown, as you can see, some rice right outside the entrance of the place, and around and around and all around, which is fine. No land here is left unused. It's valuable. If you can grow rice here, you know, good for you. Don't waste this land. But, you know, let's fix the place up. You're not going to alter the ancient architecture of the place, but the things that you can touch and can do something with, you fix it. You put a nice fence around here, you know, you grow some beautiful lawn, manicured lawn, and just make it, you know, and it's hard to miss riding the bike down the road. But if you were going in a fast moving car or something, who knows, and you're looking the other way, you're going to pass the place right up. There's no signage or anything. This is like just, wow, okay. Apparently there's something interesting here, and you discover that it's an 11th century Cham tower. It is fascinating. And the reason I did get out of there is because, yeah, it is kind of creepy. Anytime you go inside of a dark ancient temple where the goddess of death was worshipped, you don't hang around a long time. You know, you do the sign of the cross and you get out of there. But very interesting, very interesting. All right, I'm going to move along a little bit. I can't be out here too long because it's going to get hot today, and it's morning, of course. So they're doing some burning here. You can see it on the rice fields right on the other side here. So you can see the smoke lending some ambiance to my discovery here this morning. How's that for a spooky kind of thing? I'm gonna snap a few photos of this joint and move on down the road.